guys won't need to know this, but I'm just saying in case, just pointing out that just because you are classed as a goth or you wear dark clothes, etc., does not make you a bad person, you know. It's quite a stereotype, pretty much, because I wouldn't class myself as a goth because, like I say, I like girly stuff, I like pink, etc. But I do like dark clothes. I wear a lot of black clothes, and obviously I have piercings and tattoos and things, and I like listening to some like heavy metal and stuff, but it doesn't make me a bad person, you know what I mean? Like, it's so portraying in this story, so just put that in mind. Despite have their baby back, Mark and Deborah looked at her social media accounts to see if they could find anything behind her new character. Upon realising that Jasmine was in a relationship with a guy older than her, they expressed their disappointment and told her to cut things off, but Jasmine refused. His immortality and love meant everything to her, and nothing else mattered. However, her parents had never stopped pushing Jasmine until she felt enough was enough and it was time for them to go permanently. Jasmine wrote, "I hate them, so I have this plan. It begins with me killing them and ends with me living with you." In response, Jeremy, nicknamed the Soul Eater, replied, "Well, I love your plan, but we need to get a little more creative with like details and stuff." After a few months of planning, on the 23rd of April 2006, Jeremy told his friends that it was the day he and Jasmine were going ahead with their plan. Testifying later in court, all of them said while they sat and watched the Natural Born Killers movie, Jeremy said that was the same technique the couple would use. The only difference was with them, no one would be left behind, including Jacob. Murder. That night, Jeremy wrote a public message on his blog to signal the 12-year-old who was at home with her parents. "Payment. My lover's rents are totally unfair. They say that they really care. They don't know what is going on. They just assume." As their greed continues to consume, she's slowly going insane. Their throats I want to slit. They will regret the SHI they have done, especially when I see to it that they are gone. They shall pay for their insolence. Finally there will be silence. Their blood shall be my payment. That night, Mrs. Deborah went downstairs after she heard a weird noise coming out of their kitchen. She was shocked to see a tall, skinny guy wearing all black, covered with a mask and holding a kitchen knife. Without hesitation, the man stabbed her multiple times as she screamed out for help. Sadly, by the time her husband got to the kitchen, Deborah was gone. 46-year-old Mark quickly grabbed a screwdriver and tried to protect himself, but the intruder overpowered him and mercilessly stabbed him 24 times, resulting in his death. Jeremy then proceeded upstairs Jasmine, sorry, that was my stomach, and her little brother was. According to Jasmine, once she heard her parents screaming, she ran to Jacob's room, closed his ears, and told him everything would be okay, since he wasn't part of the original plan. However, once Jeremy entered the room, he told her no one was staying behind, but it wasn't his plan to kill Jacob, but hers. It was then Jasmine grabbed the knife, stabbed him 5 times before Jeremy slit his throat and left it slightly connected to the rest of his body. That following morning, one of the neighbour's kids made his way to the Richardsons, intending to ask Jacob if he wanted to play with him outside, but quickly retreated once he saw a pool of blood through the window. Soon after, his mother called the police. One of them noticed that from the family portrait hanging on the wall, one family member was missing from the deceased bodies, and a search for Jasmine began. Detectives feared that whoever had committed the crime had possibly kidnapped Jasmine, so they needed to find her before the intruder killed her too. 2 officers drove to her school, but to no avail. They then asked for her locker to be unlocked to check if Jasmine had left anything that would lead them to her. However, everybody was shocked once they realised that the person they thought was in danger was actually the prime suspect. Jasmine had drawn the family home burning down, with everyone inside except her. Police quickly intensified their search, and it wasn't long until the 2 evil birds were arrested, just 100 miles away from their town. With a short period, police had gathered enough evidence to prove that both were guilty, and the trial began. Jasmine admitted to everything and told the jury that the sole purpose of her evil deeds was her love for Jeremy, and her family was standing in her way of living happily ever after. She added that she thought committing the crime together would bring them much closer, and her instincts proved her right. Jeremy proposed a few days after their arrest, and she said yes. Nevertheless, she later contradicted herself. Jasmine told the jury that though it had been her desire and original plan to kill her family, then make it look like an accident, she changed her mind a few days before the murder, but Jeremy said there was no going back. With that said, Jasmine pleaded not guilty to 3 accounts of first-degree murder, despite that she was the one who stabbed Jacob. In her defence, Jasmine claimed she never did it willingly, but Jeremy had yelled and forced her to do it because he had killed them for her, so she had to do the same for him. Nonetheless, on July the 10th, 2007, Jasmine Richardson was found guilty on all charges, but sentenced to only 10 years in line with the Youth Criminal Justice Act. It states that any child under the age of 14 cannot be tried and convicted like an adult, no matter the gravity of the crime. On top of that, Jasmine only served 6 years on the grounds of insanity and spent the other 4 at a psychiatric hospital. On the other hand, Jeremy gave a full description of what transpired and pleaded guilty. his last breath. He asked why, and he told him, because your daughter wanted it that way. Detailing the events, Jeremy dismissed Jasmine's claims that she did not willingly participate, especially in killing her younger brother. It didn't bother her at all either. She didn't cry or anything. In fact, the next day, when we were on the road, she was laughing about it. She's got a few screws loose too. However, throughout this hearing, Jeremy kept his head down, and after only 2.5 weeks, he was found guilty and sentenced to 3 counts of first-degree murder without parole for a minimum of 25 years. His mother, Jacqueline May, held tightly to her Bible, looked down and wept. Speaking to the media at the courtroom, she said she was shocked by the ruling and never expected the first-degree verdict her son received. She son believed Jeremy turned out that way because of his difficult childhood living with an alcoholic mother who had no luck finding a good man who could play as a good father figure and role model to her son. In 2016, Jasmine Richardson was released at the age of 23 and given 10-year probation. If she completes it, then her criminal record will be permanently deleted. I can't speak today. She eventually changed her name and relocated to a new city. Nonetheless, I doubt Jasmine would ever be able to take away the nightmare she laid upon herself. Imagine if she told someone that she was an orphan. How would she explain losing everyone in a day? I doubt she would even be able to forgive herself. That is a painful story of the Richardson family brutally murdered by someone they loved and called their own. And that was the end of today's true crime case. I'm sorry it wasn't super long, but there's not a lot of information on the site that I do use. I just think